Good afternoon. First, I wish to convey the regrets of the Honorable Minister Gopi Schoon and Permanent Secretary Mrs. Allen Ovid for not being able to attend today's launch. Both send their regards. It is nevertheless my pleasure to address you today on behalf of the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Today's event represents another significant achievement of the TTCSI, adding to the list of important initiatives successfully executed over the last year or so. This includes the launch of the National Services Exporters Portal, inclusive of the company's registry, and the execution of the Gateway to Trade program. Initiatives that the Ministry of Trade and Industry is pleased to have been part of in their implementation. The Doing Business with the World Series initiative represents another positive step towards supporting the development of the services sector in Trinidad and Tobago. As many have said before me, the services sector possesses considerable potential to accelerate the growth of the local economy. Global trade statistics have shown that services has outpaced the growth of global merchandise trade from 1995 to 2017. This suggests that services can have a disproportionate positive impact on Trinidad and Tobago's long-term economic growth. In TNT, the services sector is the single largest contributor to the economy in terms of GDP. In 2021, the contribution to GDP stood at 63%, and it was also the largest employer at 85% of the labor force. As Mr. Dukaran would have mentioned before, despite those numbers, the majority of the services produced in Trinidad and Tobago is consumed domestically rather than exported. In 2021, for instance, TNT's services exports accounted for only approximately 3% of the country's total exports. There's definitely room for improvement in these numbers, which the government is determined to address via its national diversification efforts. For its part, the Ministry of Trade and Industry has sought to contribute to the development of the sector through several initiatives. In terms of the government's policy response, the Ministry will be seeking to develop a new trade policy that feature heavily responses to grow trade in services. We are also engaged in implementing 3 CARICOM-approved development strategies for the postal and courier, tourism, and professional services sectors. Additional regional strategies for other sectors are to be finalized by CARICOM in the near future to help improve competitiveness in the region. We are also pursuing measures to improve the collection of regional services data, something that others have mentioned is greatly important as well, and we're seeking to do this through greater partnerships with the regional public sector. Last year, the Ministry of Trade and Industry also launched a Yachting Grant Fund facility to provide financial assistance to micro and small enterprises, as well as a trade and business information portal to provide information on the country's import and export requirements, as well as the regulations for starting a business or investing in TNT. Similar to the Doing Business series that seeks to match exporters with opportunities, the ministry is also seeking to establish new commercial offices and attaches in key countries around the world to help support our exporters. A new trade and investment promotion agency is also to be established to improve the country's trade promotion efforts and raise the international business profile. These are just some of the initiatives that I would wish to highlight today. The ministry acknowledges that additional solutions and responses are needed to get us to where we want to go. Challenges to the free movement of persons and the lack of regulatory transparency in some markets continue to act as barriers to services trade. We at the Ministry of Trade and Industry continue to look for solutions to overcome these issues. By working together with our stakeholders like the TTCSI, the Ministry is confident that further progress can be made to grow the services sector in Trinidad and Tobago. We are therefore committed to continued partnership and collaboration in this regard. Finally, to the 2022 cohort of the Great Gateway to Trade program, the Ministry of Trade and Industry extends congratulations to you on participating in such an exercise. The program is an important initiative in strengthening the country's services export capacity. Your involvement puts us in a better position to realize our national diversification goals. We are proud of your achievements and encourage you to continue to aim high as we seek to build a stronger Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.